Now, for more on vaccine hesitancy is Onyebuchi Eloke. He's a public health consultant and a microbiologist. He joins us now from Abuja studios. Thank you for joining us on the program. First, what's your overall take of Nigeria's vaccination rollout so far?
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for your question. Hello, thank you very much.
We can hear you loud and clear. Just go ahead.
All right. So my take is, like, Nigeria is doing well, but I would like to start this way. You know, healthcare is dependent on technicality and political. So, and the ability to manage a pandemic is dependent on these two factors. This is very, very important, because if there is a gap in one aspect of this factor, then the whole process, there becomes a primary targeted gap in the process. So the technicality drives the political aspect of the campaign. Now, Nigeria has, on the 2nd March 2021, this year, Nigeria received 3.9 million doses from of this vaccine from AstraZeneca, from the COVAX, sorry. So this is very, very important. The Nigerian Minister of Health is also told us that they are discussing with Afri-Exim Bank to make this vaccine available for the local population, which is very much important. And they are also organizing the private sector to make this vaccine available. Now, but the major problem is the vaccine hesitancy. The population are not coming up to, take up this vaccine. So how can the government manage this? It's very simple. They need to create what we call a vaccine case management team and a national data sharing team or database, which is very, very important, so that they can drive and understand, do a root cause analysis and understand why people are not coming up to take up this vaccine.
In some of the studies,
National Primary Healthcare have done a lot by creating what we call vaccine accountability officers at the local population, both in the state and the local government, which their duty is to see that the local government are meeting some of these criteria in these vaccine protocols, in terms of training and the collection of vaccine, disposal of the vaccine vials after inoculation. Now, the federal government are doing their best, but are the population also cooperating, helping the federal government to meet up with the federal government agenda of inoculating about 70% of the Nigerian population? So
let me jump in. Let me jump in here on the area of the inoculation you talked about, and very briefly, some have said that, and some of the studies I've read, that one of the issue of vaccine skepticism is that people's trust in government's approval of a safe and effective vaccine against COVID-19, that is really the biggest driver of vaccine uptake.
Sorry, can you come again? I didn't pick that.
Would you say that that is our case, that the reason why the vaccine hesitancy might be prevalent is that the people do not trust government's efforts so far in, sending the message about the safety and efficacy of the vaccines?
Yeah, actually, when the 1.6 million people have come up in a country of 200 million people have come up to take up the vaccine, which is about 0.9% of the population, despite the assurance of the Mr. President and the Vice President coming up to, take up the vaccine to eliminate the idea of vaccine hesitancy and COVID-19 denialism, the National Primary Healthcare still need to do more, in terms of addressing the vaccine hesitancy. Actually, it's still a problem, because in a country of 200 million people and 0.9% have been vaccinated, that means that we, the health workers, still have a lot of work to do, especially at the local population, at the hinterland. And so I would say that the effectiveness, the assurance of the federal government in terms of, telling the population or the citizens that this vaccine is effective is not just enough. That's what we need to find a healthcare management tool to create what we call vaccine dialogue at the local population.
This is definitely an issue that we will have to revisit. Definitely an issue we will have to revisit. We'd like to thank you. Wish we had more time to talk about this. We've been speaking to Onyebuchi Eloke, a public health consultant and microbiologist. Thank you for joining us on the program.